Welcome everyone to round number 1 of October 9th's Star Wars Unlimited Night over at Valkyrie Vault in Brownsburg, Indiana. If you guys are looking for a place to play some Star Wars Unlimited, check out Valkyrie Vault in Brownsburg, Indiana. Thursday nights, 6 p.m., $5 entry, and you walk away with your promo pack and at least one pack of the current set. More packs go to higher position places like 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Well, in round number 1, I am right here for you all playing a Han Shadow Forest Green against Thrawn JTL Yellow. Two very good decks, though it is debatable which version of Han was better, whether you should be in the blue, Force Blue Han, or if you should be in green. I'm deciding to do green instead of blue. Anyways, before we jump to game number 1, let's discuss these two decks here. Thrawn JTL Yellow is all about double tapping your when defeated abilities. Thrawn on his front side states, when you use a when defeated ability, you may tap him to use that ability again. He flips on 6 for 4/6, and on his backside, he does the exact same thing, allowing you to double tap with defeated skills only once per turn. So your whole gimmick is that, the whole deck's gimmick is that you're playing a lot of cards with the tag, when defeated, do X. And then because of Thrawn, you can do when defeated X, do it again. So for instance, a really good combination here is because we're in yellow, you have the ability to use Surprise Strike to reduce the cost of the legendary legacy run from JTL that states when defeated, deal 6 damage to units on your opponent's board state. If you double tap Thrawn, you could deal 12 damage instead. So you can do 12 full damage from double tapping the legacy run. So which, like I said, you Surprise Strike the legacy run, swing it into your opponent's base, kill it off at the end of turn, double tap Thrawn if you haven't done it that turn, and then you get 12 damage just however you want it to be, which is really cool. So it's all just about pseudo control, because again, you have yellow, you have waylays, you have Surprise Strikes. Again, being in Vigilance Villainy, you have access also to, of course, Power the Dark Side as well. So it's just a pseudo control strategy where a lot of your cards are going to be when defeated, so that you can double tap those skills with Thrawn. My deck Han Shadow Force Green is all about just utilizing the Force Green units in this. So there's really a difference between the Force Green and the Force Blue. Force Blue, I think, is the better choice for Han from Shadows rather than Force Green. But nonetheless, Force Green still gives you some really good stuff to play. You have 𝐒𝐓𝐾𝐄. You still have all of this stuff you can still do in green. You're just swapping out your blue engine for a green engine, but you still have all access to everything that you want to do with this Han. Han states on his front side, action tap him, reduce the cost of your next card by 1, but deal 2 damage to it. So it allows you to reduce the cost of absolutely everything. So you can do turn 1, 3 cost plays, turn 3, or when you're on 3 resources, turn 3, 4 cost plays. So you just reduce the cost of your guys coming out and then utilizing that. And because we're using a force space, we have a lot of force users. Like in here, we do have the Yoda that comes out, can burn the force, and it heal 5 damage to your base, as well as for all units on the board, deal that much damage to your opponent's unit times 2. So if you have 4 units out, with including the Yoda, you can then do 8 damage to a unit on your opponent's board state. So again, being able to reduce the cost of that is really nice, as well as being able to bring out that Grogu. And because we will have Grogu out, smashing damage onto your own guys isn't bad, because then you could just tap the Grogu to remove the damage and put it onto one of your opponent's units. So you basically just clean up your units and play them for a cheaper cost. He flips for 5, and he is a 3/6 or a 4/6. I can't remember him. But he also does the exact same thing. Action, you can reduce the cost of your next unit. You play that turn by 1, but put 2 damage on it. So my deck is just a spam strategy. I'm just spamming out bodies as fast as I can go, so that I can try to win out against my opponent who's on a control strategy. So we'll have to see who wins. I can't really remember where I went in this tournament. I'm recording this on December the 3rd, if that tells you anything of how long I've had this in storage to record it. I believe I went X2 with this. I lost round 2 against double yellow Thrawn from Spark, and I think I lost my round 3 matchup, and I can't remember what my round 3 matchup was against. But again, even after this tournament, I still feel Han Shadow Force Blue is still just the better Han to use rather than green. But green is still a lot of fun. I think green is fun. It's just I think it loses some of that tempo that blue gives it. So nonetheless, it is time to jump into game number 1. So here we go for game number 1. We're both just finishing up our siding. My opponent does have the initiative here, so they're going to go for a Director Clinic coming down, shoot it. Again, he reduces the cost of each one of your reduce the cost of all your when defeated by 1, so it's really nice, so you can play a lot of guys out. And of course, I'm going to go for an Audi just because this deck does have a lot of events into it, so when they use an event, they have to then take 1 damage to the base. Also, cards in here, I totally forgot, you do have like Mace Windu's, you have the Obi-Wan Kenobi from the starter deck, which is really strong, a good, really good Obi-Wan Kenobi. Again, the reason why I was playing in green is because you have access to Obi-Wan, you have a lot of Force unit. As we go for a Desperate Commando when defeated, which comes out 1 resource here, so we're going to go for a good old Obi-Wan Kenobi to come down, and then we're going to go for the TIE Onyx in the sky. We're going to go for the Audi to swing into 2 damage in the base. I'm just kind of deciding whether I want to do, and then I will claim the Force because I did swing with a Force unit here. And again, Obi-Wan is a Sentinel right now because of, again, he gets Sentinel whenever you play a Force unit, or when he is played, as well as he gives himself Sentinel the turn he is played. So right now, he will not have Sentinel this turn because, no, I have not played a Force unit this turn. So again, I haven't really burned Han's ability here, so we're going to go for Desperate Commando. We're going to tap immediately Desperate Commando. We're going to burn its effect. Desperate Commando on defeat give a unit -1/-1, tap Thrawn to do that again. So we're going to go for the red 5 in the sky. I'm not going to reduce red 5's cost here because the Onyx could technically kill red 5 right out of the sky because the Onyx is a 2/3 on death, heal 2. So it could easily have gone into red 5 and just straight up killed it. So I'm going to take 2 damage from the Onyx. We're going to go for 3 damage onto the base from the good old Obi-Wan Kenobi. And then, again, I haven't used the ability. Again, I'm not really deciding on when I want to really use Han's ability here, because it's always interesting when do you actually tap and burn the damage on it. Like, for instance, I could have done it to the red 5 to reduce the cost, but the problem is there's not really a point for me to do that on red 5, because technically red 5 would die to the Onyx, and then I'm going to see a Power of the Dark Side, I am going to just kill off the Obi-Wan. I actually have the Poe Dameron Pilot in my hand, so that's why I'm trying to protect my red 5 from being killed off by Power of the Dark Side. So that just now leaves me pretty much kind of interesting how I want to take this now. So anyways, we're going to go for reducing the cost of the Poe Dameron that comes out on 4 by using Han's ability. We're going to take 2 damage, so I'm going to create an X-Wing. I forgot an X-Wing token, then Poe, when played on the ground, can then create an X-Wing token, and then he can then attach immediately to a fighter that doesn't have a pilot on it. So that just removes the damage right off of the Poe Dameron, and then we're going to go right for red 5, swinging into the base for 5. There is no damage units on the board, so there's no point for me to restand anything, as we see in Admiral Monty as well. I'm going to flip over the Han, and then we're going to go for the Director Clinic. Oh, so Han's a 3/6. I thought he was a 3/6. Anyways, going to go 3 more damage. By the way, when Admiral Monty does die, you can easily restand 1 villainy unit on the board, and then because of Thrawn, you can double tap that to restand 2 villainy units on the board. As we see also a TIE Phantom coming down into the sky. That is kind of annoying to see there, but again, that is something we're just going to have to deal with. I'm just going to sacrifice the X-Wing token. X-Wings come out as 2/2s, so that I'm easily able to remove the TIE Phantom. We're just going to bounce back the red 5, removing the Poe Dameron upgrade from that. So I'm just kind of deciding what I want to do. Again, I do have the use of Han Solo's front side ability. We're just going to kill off the Admiral Monty. That way, again, he can't really proc the when defeated skill from the Admiral Monty on the Thrawn here, because again, that would be kind of pointless. There's not 2 villainy units to restand here, so I'm just kind of burning that. We're going to go for the Grogu coming down here. We're going to go for the TIE Brute here to attack and then hit the base. I'm going to go for the Anakin's Obi-Wan there, and I'm going to point out to my opponent that I had the Sentinel up so that their Thrawn basically would have to swing into the Obi-Wan, take 3 damage, and wouldn't be able to kill off my Obi-Wan, leaving me with 1 health point left. And now I have the Grogu standing as well, which means I can move up to 2 damage from any one of my guys as I decide to drop my hand and then show a Poe Dameron there, which again is pretty nice here, but unfortunately I don't have any way to mass them out. So anyways, we're going to go for the Mace Windu here, burning the Force and then deal 4 damage to any unit on the board here. So we're going to also then use, of course, Han's ability to reduce the cost by 2 here, so by 1. So I paid up 5 there for him because of that. And then we're going to deal the 4 damage from his effect of burning the Force to deal the 4 damage onto him. Anyways, we're going to go for the Tauntaun swinging into Obi-Wan, and then Tauntaun on death can give a shield to 2 damaged units here. So we're going to decide to swing the 3 into the base there from the Obi-Wan. So that's immediately going to then die to the Director Krennic, because again, it only had 2 health points left on it. We're going to go for Grogu to pop the shield off of the Director off of Thrawn there because to moving the damage from the Mace Windu here. I am looking pretty not great here. Again, those bases are only 27 health. 28 health, sorry. They're 28 health bases. So I'm already 16 of my 28 health. And then we see the Legacy Run, which again is the very potent card here in this strategy because of the way it works. So anyways, we're going to swing another 2 into the face, and then we're just going to pass. I did claim the initiative there, so I will be starting off the play here. But now the problem is the Legacy Run is in the sky, which means that if it dies by any means, which again is, there is some ways to kill it, so it does mean that it will be able to do that damage here as my camera does slightly lose the focus. Here my opponent will be able to reset their director, their Thrawn there for them. Again, I do still have the ability to use Grogu to remove the damage off of Han Solo so that I can remove it. So we're going to remove 2 of the damage markers from the Han Solo. We're going to decide to knock off the shield off the director Krennic here just so that there's not things shielded right now on the board state. We're going to have to kind of figure out now what we want to do. I do have I do have a Yoda in there in ham. We're just going to go for a waylay back the Mace Windu. I do not have the Force right now, so Mace Windu's effect isn't going to be useful to me. Neither is Obi-Wan's. Neither is Yoda's effect, because I don't have actually a Force. I don't have the Force up right now, so I'm going to try to figure out what I kind of want to do because I do not have the Force here. So there's no way. Oh, wait, no, sorry. I do have the Force. I did forget. I did use the Force at one time. We're just going to nuke the Director Krennic here. So I'm going to heal off the 5, burning the Force, and then I can deal 6 damage to 1 unit on the board here. So I'm just going to nuke off the Director Krennic. I could have killed off the Brute there, but the problem is the Brute then just double taps its effect for the Thrawn, and then that just heals 4 damage off of it, which is not exactly something I want healing off of my base here as we swing for the Obi-Wan. Then we're going to go for the Legacy Run, and then I'm just going to be able to claim the initiative. I have nothing else to do. My opponent did put down Inferno 4, did look at the top 2. We won't know what they did, but again, you look at top 2 cards, you can put those cards either the top or the bottom of your deck in any order. So anyways, we're just going to go back into just this. Again, I do not have the Force right now. I'll be able to claim the Force off of the Yoda as well if I really wanted to. I do have the Krayt Dragon as well in my hand, so I will be able to reduce the cost of the Krayt Dragon, which again, on whenever your opponent plays a card, even if that card kills a Krayt Dragon, you still get the trigger of that. So we're just going to throw down the Krayt Dragon. So again, any card that my opponent plays, I could then choose where the damage can go. So basically, if they try to kill the Krayt Dragon, I can still choose like a Rival's Fall or some way to melee nuke off like Fail the Dragon, kill it off. I still get to do the damage. Any card that's played, I can choose the cost of that card. I can choose that damage to go on my opponent's base or to go onto one of my opponent's units here. So now that there's a 10-10 Krayt Dragon on the board, that is really lethal here because as you can see, my opponent is at 26 health, 26 damage. I still have a 5, a 3, and I could potentially swing the Grogu if I really wanted to into my opponent as well. My opponent is sitting on the space of a Legacy Run at 3-3, a Onyx Brute at 2-3, and then the Inferno 4 at 2-3. So they have a really good space presence right now that I'm not really counteracting. But again, my ground is getting heavily out of control. And now that Krayt Dragon's on the ground, that does become more of a nuisance because I'll be able to swing heavy damage right into my opponent. So they're going to go for the 3 right into my face here. We're going to go for the Yoda swinging in the 5 here. And then the problem is right now, again, they're now really hitting at that point of coming down as they now are at 24, meaning that if they play any 5 costs, I can put that 5 cost onto their base. If they play anything at all, they're dead here. So we're just going to go for a Legacy Run. We're going to pop the Legacy Run. We're going to trigger the Legacy Run's effect to swing all the damage into my unit. And then we're going to eat 3 damage onto my opponent's base, and my opponent is just going to scoop that up because again, the Legacy Run is a 5 or 6 costed unit. So when it's a 5 cost, there it is right there for me. So it's a 5 cost, so I put 5 damage onto the base off of the effect of the Krayt Dragon, even though the Legacy Run swings all 12 damage at their opponent, at the Krayt Dragon, just to kill it all off there, to kill it off there. And then the problem is I use the Krayt Dragon effect before on death, and then I just put that damage marker, that 5 damage onto my opponent's base, pushing us up to the point where Obi-Wan wins the game, and even then I could just take the initiative. There's no way I'm dying to the death of a 2 4s while I'm at 21 health to my 20. So that'd be 4 more damage. I'd be 25, and I would just need to pass, and Yoda wins me the game right then and there. I also didn't claim the Force when I attacked as well. But nonetheless, game 1 goes to me. Let's move into game number 2. Here we go, everyone, for game number 2 here. My opponent is finishing up their resourcing. They are going to go first here. We're going to go for another Director Credit. I'm going to reduce the cost. I'm going to put in a red 5 into the sky here. Mainly because it's right now really good because of the fact that there's nothing right now in the sky to threaten red 5 immediately if I didn't claim initiative. I also have the Poe Dameron in hand. I could go to the Poe Dameron. As we're going to go for a Director Clinic into that, we're going to go for the Poe Dameron again. I'm going to trigger Poe Dameron's effect so that we can get ourselves an X-Wing and then put the Poe Dameron immediately under the red 5, removing the damage counters off him as well. We're going to just go for the Waylay, immediately getting the red 5 back into the hand and immediately only having a token on the ground. Then we're immediately going to then claim the initiative here. So it's a little sad my red 5 is just gone. Oh, well, I really was hoping to keep the red 5 with the Poe Dameron, swing 5 damage per turn into my opponent's face, which would have been really nice there. We're going to go for the Mundi here. The Mundi will have no effect. Again, when played, you can burn the Force to draw 2 cards. I didn't have the Force, unfortunately. We're going to go for a Vow. We're going to swing 2 damage my opponent's base with the X-Wing token. Vow, when defeated, you can give 2 experience tokens to a unit on the board, as well as when defeated, you can also deal 3 damage to one of your opponent's units. So what he's going to do is he can double tap the Thrawn. He's going to give it 4 experience tokens to Krennic, and then I get to choose the bounty of dealing 3 damage to one of my opponent's units. I'm just going to smash into the shield there, which is going to be pointless. So now that Director Krennic is a 6/6, which is not something fun to deal with when that is out right now. So I barely have any real way to deal with Director Krennic right now. I mean, I had the Poe Dameron to try to deal with it, but again, I would have to be bounced back to my hand or anything. Like, again, Cunning is really good at just being able to control board states with like the waylays, with things coming out, just so you control. Like I said, it's a good pseudo control. I mean, I don't think Thrawn's real like hard control like decks like that. We're just going to go put down the Poe Dameron here. We're just going to pay the full price to bring out Poe just so we deal with it. Again, Poe is going to be able to swing over the Director Krennic next turn, which is pretty nice here. As we're going to go for a Legacy Run in the sky. I'm going to hit 2 damage once again to my opponent there. Once again, that Legacy Run is very dangerous with the Director Krennic on the board, as well as they actually get to reduce the cost of that. So they're actually going to be able to reduce the cost of that by 1, putting out the Legacy Run for 4 because of Director Krennic's effect, because Legacy Run does have a win defeated skill. But anyways, Director Krennic is going to knock out the Poe Dameron here. I'm just going to flip over my Han Solo. My opponent does try to flip Thrawn. I point out that Thrawn's a 6, that they're at 5 right now, and we're just going to swing 3 more damage, and then my opponent is just going to claim the initiative here, and then we're just going to go from there. So I'm now at 6 resources here. Again, I can bring something else out. I still don't have the Force right now, which does really suck because the fact is that a lot of my cards in my hand do really need the Force to be being played here. And again, the Legacy Run is about to come out, so that is going to be a very prominent thing, that if he can kill the Legacy Run here, that immediately will be able to double tap the Legacy Run and deal that 12 damage, divided how he wishes, which is still dangerous. Again, I think Thrawn is going to be actually Thrawn from JTL is going to be a pretty fun deck to check out in the SEC meta. Again, I'm recording this on the 3rd of December, so SEC has already been out because of the new Thrawn Legendary from SEC that basically can allow you to take an opponent's unit, unless if they don't, they just get to withstand, and then when defeated, one of your guys can capture. So we're just going to put down the Mace Windu here. There's nothing I can really do. There's no ability to run anything. We're just going to swing 3 damage into my opponent's base. The Legacy Run took out my X-Wing here, so nothing much I could do there. The sky is back into my opponent's presence as well. I think I have a home 1 in my hand as well, but it's not going to really help much here. So basically, my opponent is just going to put down a Desperate Commando here, and then they're going to go for the Tauntaun, and then Thrawn's going to hit the base, and we're just going to pass from there. So basically, I claim the initiative. Not much I can really do except to have swung that turn. Han, and that was pretty much it. On, I think, actually could do some interesting things also in the SEC meta. I'm not exactly sure. I think if I'm going to play him, I'd go back into being blue, personally. I don't know if I really liked green, but anyways, we're going to have the Mace Windu attack into the Desperate Commando. The big question is whether or not, I don't think my opponent triggered the double tap effect off of Thrawn here. Anyways, we're just going to swing it, and we're going to kill that off with the Tauntaun. The Tauntaun effect has to give it to a damaged shield to a damaged non-vehicle unit, and Thrawn is not a damaged unit right now. He has no damage counters on him. Again, the problem is I don't want to kill this Legacy Run right now because if he hasn't triggered the ability, again, I do get the Force here because I did swing. The problem is whether or not, I don't think I definitely know he's waiting for me to try to murk his Legacy Run so we can trigger the Legacy Run's double tap effect. We're going to go for the Hammerhead here. Hammerhead effect And then I'm going to deal, I believe, 4 damage to my opponent's. Yes, 4 damage to my opponent's base. That's what the Hammerhead does. He's just going to attack the Hammerhead, and then he's just going to finish it off with a mending effect of the Legacy Run, and then he's going to send the other 6 damage at so basically just finishes off the Hammerhead and then swings a bunch of damage into my Han Solo as well, just murking them. So again, he deals 3 damage already on the defeat, and then deals another 3, and then just sends the rest over at Han. So basically knocks it out here. Again, you just double tap it, so you could send 6 damage initially at one unit and the other 6 at another. So basically, like, mercs off both the Hammerhead and the Han Solo. So now I'm kind of just like up the creek right now. So we're gonna go for another Hammerhead onto the ground here, as long as I have at least 3 damage, because I forgot he's actually at 4/7. Yeah, that Thrawn, both Thrawns are quite thick. But anyways, we're going to send the other Hammerhead. It's going to at least do another 4 damage here, and then we're going to be able to go with that. Really going to merc off the Hammerhead here. We're going to go for red blue leader to immediately kill that off. Again, that's going to then heal back to 2. They can't double tap since Thrawn came in wounded, and we're going to go for a 𝐒𝐓𝐀 on the ground with Descendo, and then we're just going to claim here. So far, the board state has been really controlled by both sides of the board. Neither of us have been able to establish much of a board, though the Krennic was pretty scary. I'm surprised my opponent actually decided to go for the kill. So anyways, I am going to reduce the cost here of home one to come on down. Then we're going to go for something I can play from the ground. So we're going to go for Mundi to then immediately be able to reduce the cost, because again, he reduces the cost by 3. So I'm going to be able to bring down the Mundi, pay 1 for the Mundi, and then flip over the Force when Mundi is played, and then immediately be able to draw 2 cards. We're going to go for a Vow, which is going to be really dangerous here, because the Vow can kill itself right onto the Mundi, and then be able to power up that 𝐒𝐓𝐻, making the 𝐒𝐓𝐻 even bigger. And again, I believe I have the initiative though, so I do have the ability, but the problem is that I will have to go through the 𝐒𝐓𝐻 first because it does have Sentinel. Again, the 𝐒𝐓𝐻 can't attack naturally because of its effect here. So we'll have to kind of figure out what exactly I want to do here. I do have a couple of plays here. We're going to go for blue leader. We're going to pay 2 more. We're going to bring blue leader down to the ground. We are going to ambush it into the 𝐒𝐓𝐻 there, killing off the 𝐒𝐓𝐻. And then I do get Restore 1, because all my units do get Restore 1 because of Home 1. Then immediately going to be able to knock out the blue leader here, because I already had 3 damage on it with good old Snoke. So the problem with Snoke now is Mundi's only a 2/2, and my Home 1 is a 5/5 as well. So anyways, I'm going to swing Mundi into Thrawn. We did forget that each... I can't remember if it's each enemy, but it doesn't really matter. Anyways, 2 damage from Val onto my guy, and then we're gonna then use an open fire to kill off a good old Snoke there, and then I'm gonna reduce the cost of the Grogu here, dealing 2 damage, which doesn't really matter to me. I'll be able to move that 2 damage over the Val, and then be able to maybe manipulate the board state here of a little different. But again, I do have the Restore 1 on him as well. I can also remove the damage off of Home 1 if I really want to, but I'm probably going to remove the damage from Goku and put it somewhere else here. Again, I do want to be cautious of the fact that Val does need a guy on the board right now to trigger its when defeated skill. So that is the thing about it, is like right now I do not want to kill Val or see Val die while he has a body on the board, because again, that all 4 experience tokens would be going to that unit, and I really just don't want 4 experience tokens going to a unit here. My opponent doesn't have much. They're just going to show me that they don't have any way to concede, and I just show that I have the Krayt Dragon again. I can drop the Krayt Dragon, win from there, and I have 2 open fires. I have another Mundi, and I have another Grogu. So my hand is just stacked to win out the game here in the late. Again, a great thing about this Han is that it can push the late game because of the Krayt Dragon, and once the Krayt Dragon's down, a lot of decks just don't have outs to Krayt Dragon, especially if they have a whole lot of damage on their base. It just turns into a really bad situation because of the Krayt Dragon effect. That anything that can be played instantly comes down and starts killing you is pretty damaging. But yeah, so nonetheless, guys, let me know your thoughts down in the comments on the game. I did get to walk away with this one, and like I said, I believe I went X2 in this event. I lost game 2 against Thrawn Spark Yellow, and I forget what I lost to in game 3. But nonetheless, it was a fun time with Han Shadow Force Green, but I still think Han Shadow Force Blue is just the better deck overall. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on that. Let me know your thoughts on Thrawn JTL Yellow and Han Shadow Force Green. What are your thoughts on these 2 decks being in the SEC meta? I think Thrawn Yellow I definitely want to try out, especially with the new Thrawn Legendary. And try that out. And I may try out Han Shadow Force Blue in the SEC meta as well, because I think there's some cool stuff you can reduce the cost of. But nonetheless, let me know all those thoughts down in the comments. And while you're commenting, do make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you're notified when my videos go live for you. And we'll see you next time on Mama Dragons TCG.